If you love podcasting as much as I do, you may be considering starting your own. Starting a podcast has been one of the best decisions I have ever made, but getting started can feel overwhelming. Buzzsprout is the easiest and most professional way to start a podcast. Buzzsprout has helped over 100,000 people launch their own podcasts, including me. Buzzsprout will launch your show on all of the major podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Play, to name a few. You also get a podcast website, audio players that can be dropped into other websites, and stats of who is listening, and so much more. Buzzsprout also publishes blog posts, podcasts, and YouTube videos every week. They are great tools and have useful information from expert podcasters. To start your own podcast and get a $20 Amazon gift card, follow the link in our show notes. This lets Buzzsprout know that I sent you, and it supports my show. Buzzsprout, the easiest way to start a podcast.
Crime, Wine, and Chaos contains adult language and graphic content. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey listeners, I'm Amber.
And I'm Naomi, and this is Crime, Wine, and Chaos. You glitched out again.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, did it glitch out while I was dancing?
Yeah, like you all of a sudden just...
Oh, freeze frame. Yeah, I did that on purpose. Hi, sister. How are you?
Hi, I am well. How are you?
I am not well.
I
Thank
know.
you.
I mean,
But
I
that's
asked
okay.
like to be, for the banter, but I know you're sick. And
No,
you don't
no.
feel
It's totally fine. I like the banter. I just have a nasty head cold, so I'm sure my voice sounds like I'm underwater.
No, you
My
sound
head
great.
My head feels like I'm underwater.
Well, that's probably true.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah. That's okay though. What's new with you?
Oh man, well, I just took my 18-year-old son to his second day of his first real big boy job.
I love that. I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, it's funny because I was the last couple of days, so like his first day, last night was worse, but even a little bit today, like I feel a lot like I did like when he went from elementary school to middle school. Like I'm like nervous for him, like I'm like, I hope he has nice coworkers, and I hope nobody treats him like crap.
Yeah. Oh, I know. You're like, I'm leaving my baby with grown-ups without support.
What is wrong with me? And like, then he came home last night and he told us, because he has to do like a couple of days of orientation before he does real work. And so he's in this like kind of classroom with a bunch of other people being oriented, and the guy running the session at one point says something like, our company values are, we do not discriminate against people based on race or gender or sexual orientation. And really, that's just a good way to live your life. And I was like, that's reassuring. Like, at least there's people that work there that are good people. So
No shit.
And he's fine. I mean, just like when he started middle school, like I was more nervous and anxious than he ever was. So
Yeah,
he's fine. He's doing great. He's doing great.
Of course he is. What a star. I'm proud of him. That's so awesome.
Me too.
Good for him. That's amazing. What else? What else is new?
Well, so I got to do a shout out, first of all.
Oh, okay, great.
Is that okay? Can I shout out on your show?
I love a good shout out. Yeah.
So we're going to do a shout out to Jennifer, who is the admin in our studio. And she is this like absolute gem and a total rock star. And we love her. And she's just high energy and so supportive and just such a great person to work with. And we're all in our morning stand up this morning, the whole studio. And she is making sure everyone's in the meeting because she has this big important announcement she wants to make at the top of the announcements meeting. And then we give her the floor and she starts going on about how if anyone in the studio hasn't listened to Crime, Wine, and Chaos yet, they need to go and listen. Because Naomi and her sister are so awesome and the show is so amazing. And
that's so sweet.
And Joshua, shout out Joshua, creator of amazing logo. He's over in the corner shaking his head up and down. He goes, that's true. It's true. And then she gave Joshua a shout out for the logo. And of course, I'm just like head in hands, like, Jennifer, this is not.
You're like, I have the floor right now. I have a very important announcement to make.
This is not morning announcement material, right? Like, oh my God, but it was so sweet. And then she talked to me about it later in the office and she went on and on. And then I was like, well, you know, if you have any friends who like true crime, you should tell them about it. She goes, I already sent that to my book club. They all already know about it. So
oh my gosh, her book club.
Yes.
She sounds like a gem of a human.
She's amazing. So shout out to Jennifer and her book club. I hope they're all listening today. And that was pretty awesome. Also, another little sidebar, shout out to longtime listener, strangely mutual for weird reasons friend of mine and Erica's, April, commented on my post about last week's episode. And she said she actually knew the difference between a coroner and a medical examiner. And she says a medical examiner is absolutely a certified PhD with an extra emphasis on forensic science or whatever. And a coroner does not have to know anything about medicine at all.
Okay, so thank you, April. I saw that. And you know, when I edited last week's show, this is a good lesson for me, where I have an issue where I get a complex, as we all do, but maybe mine is a little bit more egregious than others, about just in general sounding like a dum-dum.
Sure.
And I edited most of that conversation out because I was like, aren't coroners just like randos who don't need to know anything? Like, excuse my ignorance, but isn't that what it means to be a coroner? And then I was like, God, Amber, you're so dumb. So I took it all out.
Nope.
Okay, thank you, April. I feel validated. Yep. I also feel scared that's a thing.
Yes. Yes.
I feel equal parts joy and fear.
Yes.
And it's very confusing. So thank you for that. Wow. Oh my God.
That's
How is that possible?
I don't know. It's really unnerving though, isn't it?
Yes. It really is. Oh my God. Okay, great.
So there's that.
There is that.
What about you? You got anything?
Let's see. I had a mandolin lesson this week. That's going well. I'm starting to kind of get it a little bit.
Okay.
That's exciting for me. I mean, that's the only new exciting thing that I'm working on. And I'm sick as shit right now, so I'm drinking some tea.
Okay, good.
Out of my It's a Throat Punch Kind of Day cup, because it is.
Appropriate. Very appropriate.
And yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got a crime story for you today.
I love it.
Well, we it's kind of like assumed crime here.
That's okay. I have an assumed chaos.
Great. All right. So, have you heard about the disappearance of Sky Metalwala?
Is that a local case?
It is.
The Bellevue boy?
Yes.
I have heard. I don't know a lot about it, though.
Okay, well, let's get into it. So it's kind of a short one because it's really short on information, but it's interesting. This one really bothers me. I heard about it for the first time actually on which is weird, on True Crime Chronicles a couple of years ago. They're a kind of a journalistic crime podcast. I don't know if you've ever listened to them. They usually do stories where they are they're somehow affiliated. They always end up doing stories where they are talking to a journalist from the town who covered the story. Right. And so in this particular one, they're talking with, I don't know. I can't remember who the journalist was. I'm sorry. I didn't write it down. It was not a name of somebody that I know off the top of my head around here, but he works for one of the news shows, one of the television shows, one of the big news places. I don't know if it's Como or King. I can't remember. So they were talking to him about it. And this happened actually within minutes of my house. This happened like really close to where I live.
Oh shit.
And I was trying to figure out why I had no recollection of this huge story. And then I realized that it happened about a month after I got out of rehab.
Oh, you had other shit going on. Yeah.
You
had your own shit to deal with. Yeah.
So this happened in November of 2011.
Wow.
November 6th, 2011. Okay. So Julia Biryakova calls the Bellevue Police Department to report her 2-year-old son, Sky Metalwala, is missing. And this is the story she told the police. She was driving to Bellevue, Washington from her residence in Redmond. These cities, as you know, are right next to each other. This is not a long drive.
No.
With her 2 children, 4-year-old Miley and 2-year-old Sky. And when her car breaks down, okay, so it's a 1998 Acura Integra. It runs out of gas. So she says, Sky was asleep in his car seat. So she just takes her 4-year-old and walks to a gas station about a mile away for help.
Oh
and
my
she
God.
leaves Sky alone in the car.
Oh my. No.
Yeah.
No. Is she a really, I mean, not that this makes a difference necessarily. Is she a really, really young mom? I mean, was she on the 405? What the fuck?
No, she was on like a side street. So
Okay.
I don't know how old she was at this point. I did not get that. I don't think she was a really young mom. She wasn't like a teen mom or anything. This wasn't like
Holy shit.
So she walks to this gas station. She says she gets a ride back to her car from a friend about an hour later. And when she returns, Sky is missing.
Okay. An hour later,
Mm-hmm.
she could have, I mean, you should never leave your fucking kid in a car, period. But she could have gotten gas and walked back quicker than that.
Yeah.
What is she fucking doing?
I don't know. So this is massive, right? This news story is huge. It's a 2-year-old. People are seeing his picture. He has dark hair and huge brown eyes. He's a total cutie patootie. And this is Bellevue, right? This kind of thing is not normal in Bellevue. For any listeners outside of Pugitropolis, Bellevue is a wealthy city, a center for business types. It's right next to the Microsoft hub in Redmond. It's one of the wealthier cities in the country in the United States, and crime is not high there.
Mm-mm.
So a search effort is launched. Bellevue police are all over this. But the more they search and look into it, the more they're not exactly buying Biryakova's story. So for one, she did her initial report to the police where she told them what happened, supposedly, and then she never spoke to them again.
What the Okay.
She wasn't talking to anyone. No media, no public pleas to help her find her little. She refused repeated attempts by the police to get her to come in for another interview. Just absolute silence from this woman.
Okay.
Also, the police saw no signs of forced entry on the vehicle, and no gas can was found on the scene.
Huh.
Further, the route from the car to the gas station would take her past residential neighborhoods and businesses, and no one saw her.
Oh, fuck.
In the meantime, hundreds of volunteers are aiding in the search, and they're putting up posters and handing out flyers, and everyone is looking for Sky.
Except for her.
Right.
Wow.
Of course, as these questions and inconsistencies continue to pile up, the fact that Biryakova isn't talking to police is becoming more and more suspicious.
Uh-huh.
So, where is Sky's dad in all this? He is going on TV and pleading for Sky to be found. He is speaking with police. He is actively engaged in locating his son and cooperating with law enforcement.
And are they still in a relationship together?
No.
Okay.
So Solomon Metalwala will even later go on to take a polygraph to rule himself out as in any way involved in his son's disappearance. So Solomon and Biryakova had recently split up and gone through a really difficult custody battle. In the end, Biryakova received custody of the two children, but it's pretty sus. So at some point prior to the separation, she had been involuntarily committed to a psychiatric facility.
Oh, no.
She had reportedly been dreaming of killing the children.
Uh-oh.
Specifically of strangling Sky.
Oh, no. Did she have like postpartum psychosis or something?
Maybe. So
Okay.
while she was inpatient, one of her doctors found her to be a 15 on a scale to 100 on the GAF, which stands for the Global Assessment of Functioning.
Okay.
So the Global Assessment of Functioning, or GAF scale, is used to rate how serious a mental illness may be. So it's not used as much anymore. It's been replaced with other things, although some places still will use the GAF. So it measures how much a person's symptoms affect their day-to-day life on a scale of 0 to 100. And the higher your score, the better you're able to handle daily activities.
Okay.
So I'm no professional, but a score of 15 out of 100 seems alarmingly low.
In my mind, like what would have been logical would be like 100 is like you're in bad shape. So when you
Right.
first said 15, I'm like, she's doing pretty good. I'm like, oh, 100 is good. 1 is bad. I see. Okay, never mind. It's not going well.
So
Anyway.
this can also be indicative of the level of danger there is in a patient harming themselves or others.
Oh, shit.
So more digging, and we find out that a couple of months before Sky went missing, there was a login on a site called seekingarrangement.com on a profile that someone had set up for Biryakova.
Okay. Seeking arrangement.
So it cannot be proven that she made this account or was the one who logged in, just to be clear.
Uh-huh.
But there was an account that was set up for her.
Okay.
This is a site where women can find sugar daddies.
Okay.
And her profile states that she speaks fluent Russian and Ukrainian, is divorced with 2 kids, and is looking for financial support of $3,000 to $5,000 a month from a, quote, real man.
Oh. Okay.
So weeks go by, still no clues or leads, and only one member of Biryakova's family speaks publicly, and that is Nadia, her grandmother, who makes a statement about being heartbroken, but says nothing else relevant or helpful. So
Okay.
everyone's starting to think the same thing. This woman is a liar, and she made up the story to cover something up. And it turns out her story had an uncanny similarity to an episode of Law and Order SVU that aired a rebroadcast in Seattle the night before Sky was reported missing.
Shut the fuck up.
Yep,
She's doing her own reenactment?
I guess.
All right.
But Bellevue police aren't arresting her or bringing her in because they just don't have anything concrete on her. And once they snatch her up, all kinds of protections kick in. And this way they can follow her and see if she leads them to anything.
Okay. Smart.
So Solomon gets custody of Miley.
Okay.
And a year goes by and some tips come in that lead nowhere. Flyers are still circulating and nothing. 4 years after Sky went missing, Bellevue gets a new police chief, and he publicly states he wants to find Sky. He meets with Solomon, and they talk for hours. There's indications there may be new leads or new evidence.
Okay. Great.
But another year goes by. And now it's been 5 years since Sky disappeared. And Bellevue police don't think he was ever even in the car. No one had actually seen Sky since May of 2011, a full 5 months before Biryakova reported him missing.
Holy shit. Okay, Casey Anthony.
But early in the investigation, it was also reported that a neighbor had seen him 2 weeks prior to his disappearance.
Okay. 2 weeks. Okay.
And Biryakova is still not saying a word.
So what about this friend that picked her up from the gas station?
There was no mention after that of this friend.
That's odd. Okay.
I don't even know if that friend existed.
Right.
Because there was not even any like video evidence of her being at the gas station.
Was there, did they determine that her car was in fact out of gas, or was it too late at that point? She'd already filled up or whatever.
No. So when they finally did process the car, they found that there was plenty of gas in the car and there was nothing mechanically wrong with the car at all.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. This is not looking good. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the more you look at it, it's like there's no evidence she was at the gas station. There's nothing wrong with the car. It wasn't out of gas. Who's this mysterious friend who gave her a ride that no one knows who they are? Like, more and more, it looks like she just like left the car. Like she just like drove there and then called the police and made up a story.
Right. Fuck.
So 9 years go by since Sky went missing. She still won't sit down for an interview with the police. No media appearances. No explanation for her bullshit story at all.
Holy shit. What is she doing?
I don't know.
Okay.
So during that time, she remarries, has another son, and then splits up with that husband.
Oh my God.
And because of these divorce and custody proceedings with this second husband, she ends up in court again. So this local news journalist who's been telling this story he says that he was like, this is my chance. I'm going to go. I'm going to try and get comment from her. Right. And so people were waiting for her to literally, like, he was like waiting for her to come out of the courthouse because he knew that she had a court date so he could confront her and ask her questions. And so, as she's leaving the courthouse with her attorney, who's trying to shield her from questions and cameras, this journalist asks her, why won't you talk to police? Where is Sky? And he says he watched her get a smirking grin on her face when he asked her where Sky was.
Oh my God. That just gave me the fucking chills.
Mm-hmm. She fucking smirked. So I tracked down the footage and you could kind of see her. She kind of looks away a little bit, but she's got like a little bit of a
no.
Like,
wouldn't you like to know?
Wouldn't you like to know? Exactly.
Oh God, gross.
So Solomon believes Sky is not alive, and Julia Beryakova knows what the fuck happened to him. And that's where the story is. That's it. That's the story.
Okay, did they make any attempts at talking to the 4-year-old at the time or since then? Who she's now what? I can't do math right now.
She's like she'd be like 13 or 14 or 15 by now. She'd be a teenager by now. I don't think so. I don't know, but I don't think so.
Wow. Oh my gosh. And then she went on to have another kid. I mean, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Oh.
So unless something happens and she told somebody or she grows a conscience and tells the truth, like we'll never know what happened to Sky. He's just gone. Oh, you should see his pictures. He's such a sweet baby angel. Oh my God, he's so cute.
You know, and it's so fucking it doesn't make any sense to me because Solomon obviously wanted them.
Yeah.
This whole thing of like people that I'm not saying, I don't know what she did, but it sounds like, I mean, most of the time you do that. You don't want to be a mom. You don't want to deal with them. Why would she do this whole ass fucking, I guess because she's ill.
I mean,
custody battle. And then it doesn't make any sense.
And like, who knows? Did she send him off to a relative in Russia or Ukraine? Did she kill him and bury him somewhere where he'll never be found? Did she sell him to somebody? I mean, who knows? I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah, it could be. Oh my God, that's awful.
I'm sorry, Sissy.
Awful. Thank you.
I am so sorry.
Really just bummed me out. So thanks for that.
So sorry.
Holy shit. Okay, well.
So that's the story of the disappearance of Sky Metalwala.
Okay, well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Fuck. Well, I've got a kind of a bummer one too that involves children.
Why do we do this to ourselves and each other? Why do we?
Because I don't know, because we don't talk about it ahead of time.
Look, I did pretty well with some crazy fun chaos, but it can't always be, like I said last week, it can't always be bears. You know, your story can't always have Donut Lady in it, you know?
I know, but I feel like there's another one coming that she's going to make an appearance again. She is.
We can only hope. Everybody hope.
My God.
Donut Lady's got more for us.
Well, my chaos story this week, it's got lots of crime sprinkled in, but I'm focusing on the weirdness of all this. And it actually came as a request from a listener, Rick, on Instagram.
Oh, hey, Rick. Shout out to Rick.
Instagram. Yeah. And so I told him I would cover it, and here we are.
Okay.
So today we are going to May 7th, 2007 in Krym, which is in the Czech Republic.
Okay.
Okay. So this is spooky ooky.
Oh.
You might have heard of this. Well, let's get into it. You'll tell me.
Okay.
So a dad is setting up his new baby monitor. And it's the kind
I'm already freaked out. Freaked out. Fuck a baby monitor. Baby monitors are they're just ghost hunting equipment. That is all they are.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. For sure. Yeah. Oh my God, if you see your baby like babbling to something that isn't there, I'm fucking
just
out.
talking to the wall.
Yeah. No. God. Fuck
oh
no.
my God.
Mm-mm.
Sorry. So I'm going to let you tell your story.
It's all right. I got one sentence in. It's all right. I got 6 pages. I hope you're comfortable.
I am. Right. Keep going.
Okay. So he's setting up his baby monitor. It is the audio and the video kind. He gets it all set up, turns it on, and on the screen, instead of seeing his own baby's room, he sees something horrific. He sees a naked little boy with his hands tied behind his back, and he appears to be in a cage. Mm-hmm.
What?
Uh-huh. He can see a hand going through the bars of the cage with a spoon, feeding the boy.
Oh!
Mm-hmm. So somehow the channels have crossed and he is picking up somebody else's footage, so he calls the police.
Yeah, because that's close. That's somebody like within a few houses of him.
Yes.
Oh!
I know. So the police arrive, and they start going door to door through the neighborhood, asking people for permission to enter their homes and look around.
Oh, now we're going to do it's like musical chairs, like who doesn't let us inside?
That's exactly right.
Uh-huh.
And all of the neighbors agree except for one. And it's the home of Klara and Katerina Maureova, who live right next door.
Oh, God, I can't. His next door neighbors have a little boy tied up in a cage.
Uh-huh. So this story, it just gets fucking weird, and you're going to want answers that I don't have. So I'm sorry.
Oh, great. So it's going to be like Noah all over again. Okay.
So the sisters allow the officers just inside the entryway, but when they ask if they can walk around the house, they tell him no. And then one of the officers sees what looks like a door that would lead down to the basement, and it's locked from the outside. It's got like a code lock on it.
That's not sus at all.
No. So I don't know what the laws are in the Czech Republic, but my impression is that was probable cause, because what they did was they forced their way in. They went through that door and down into the basement, and they came upon a horrific scene. They find 2 little boys, Andre, age 8, and Jakub, age 10, were both tied up in a cage. They were very skinny. They were covered in their own feces, and they both had signs of physical abuse.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
Are these their kids?
Oh, that's my next sentence. These 2 little boys were Clara's sons. And also inside the home is a 12-year-old girl, Annika, who appears to be scared and is crying.
Oh, but she's not in the cage, one of the cages or whatever.
No. So, Annika says that she was recently adopted by Klara, and the police arrest Klara and Katerina and remove all 3 children from the home.
Yes.
Annika doesn't have any physical injuries and doesn't appear to have been abused, but she is placed in foster care with the 2 boys.
Okay.
And not too long after arriving at the foster home, she flees.
Oh, no.
Because it turns out that Annika is not a 12-year-old, but she is actually 32-year-old Barbora Škrlová.
Wait. What? Wait, no, this isn't the story of the woman who gets adopted. This is a different story from the woman who got adopted, whose family unadopted her because she turned out to supposedly be an adult. That's another story, right?
I did that story, unadopted her. I did that story, and when Rick DM'd me on Instagram, he's like, I just listened to your episode 19, and it reminds me of this. You should do this.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this is not this is a thing that happens apparently.
It's trending. Yeah.
It's trending. Oh my God. So was she in on it?
Oh, we'll get to that.
Oh my God.
mean, if you find yourself in a financial pickle, you're pretty small. This could work for you. I'm just saying.
I don't know if it could.
I'm just kidding. You've got to stop using big words, though. That's going to be your giveaway. Okay. So let's talk about Klara and Katerina. They are sisters, and they both have a long history of mental health issues.
Clearly.
Klara, yeah. Klara more so than Katerina. When they were growing up, they told people that they were conceived and put on the earth to fulfill a mission from God.
Okay. Whenever it turns into a mission from God, and we're not talking about the Blues Brothers, I have concerns.
Haven't we talked about a mission from God before? And it's bulldozer.
Yes, killdozer.
God told him. God told him to do it.
Marv told. God. Him and God had a whole convo about that.
Okay, well, we've got another God convo going on here. So,
okay.
Neither sister ever received any kind of treatment for their mental health, but as they grew up, both tried to lead relatively normal, productive lives. Ish. After high school, Klara went off to college where she met a much older man and fell in love. And the 2 eventually married and went on to have the 2 boys. But because of Klara's mental illness, she would regularly have outbursts of irrational anger. And her husband eventually had enough, and he packed up and left, abandoning her and both of his children.
He left his children with her?
Yes, she was too much for him to tolerate, so he left his 2 young boys with her. Yeah.
Why are men? Okay.
That's the question. That's the question. Yeah. So for the first few years, things went okay for Klara. People close to her said that she was a good mom. She was attentive and loving to her boys, and she had a healthy home. But she was lonely, and having an extra set of hands would be really helpful. So she invited her sister Katerina to come and stay with her. And it was around this time that Klara decided to go back to college to get her teaching certificate. So her sister was living with her, helping out around the house and with the kids. She enrolls in college, and this is where she first meets Barbora.
Barbara is the not 12-year-old.
Correct.
Okay.
Barbora is the not Annika. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So 32-year-old Barbora suffered from a disease called hypopituitarism, which is an inefficient supply of the pituitary hormones. And people with this disease tend to be smaller than average and look much younger than they are.
It's like the opposite of Andre the Giant.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So in addition to being much younger looking, Barbora would also bind her breasts. And in some sources, it said that she actually had a full breast reduction, and she would lie about her age.
Oh, she was playing it up.
Yeah. Uh-huh. When Clara first met Barbara, Barbara tells her that she was just like hanging out on campus and that she had just escaped from an abusive juvenile home. And she tells Clara that she's homeless and didn't have anywhere to go. So Clara invited Barbara, who thinks that she's Annika, like that's how she introduced herself, into her home to stay.
How old did Clara think that Annika was?
12.
Oh, she thought she was 12?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
She thought she was a juvenile hanging out on a college campus looking for an adult to help her.
Oh, she was at college. She wasn't a teacher yet. She was attending college when she met her.
She was attending college and she met Barbara wandering around on the campus.
Got it. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, got you.
No. This takes a lot of twists and turns.
Okay.
So Barbara wears really thick glasses. She always has her hair in a tight ponytail. She says that she is suffering from leukemia, kidney failure, and that she is partially blind and deaf.
Is any of that true?
No. Oh, no. No.
Oh, no. None of it.
No.
Not a word of it.
But because of this, Annika makes weekly doctor trips, and she won't allow Clara to take her to the doctor, and she insists on Katerina taking her. And Clara would get text message updates from the doctor regarding Annika's treatment.
What?
Well, yeah. So at this point, Clara is actually starting the process of full-on adopting Annika as to be her daughter. And Clara is believing all of these texts that she's getting from the doctor. But also, Clara was pretty mentally unstable and easy to manipulate.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the treatments that the doctor says must happen is a full body rub for Annika from Clara.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Like a massage?
Yeah. It's necessary as part of her treatment. I don't know if that was the blind thing or the deaf thing or I'm not sure what. I've never heard of that, but I'm not a doctor. Let's ask a coroner. They would know.
I want to know what Katerina is doing through all this, if she's the one that's supposedly taking her to the doctor, or is she lying to both of them and going off and pretending to go to the doctor?
Oh, well, we'll get there.
I'm so confused. Okay, keep going.
Uh-huh. At one point, Clara is like not suspicious, but she just wants to be roped in with like what's happening with the medical condition of her soon-to-be daughter. And so she does meet this doctor in a parking lot at night. And the man showed Clara his ID and Annika's medical file, and that seemed to satisfy Clara.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm. So it was later learned that Katerina had like a burner phone, and she was the one sending the text messages as the doctor to Clara.
Oh, are Katerina and Annika having a thing?
Oh, not that kind of thing. They're having some kind of weird thing. Well, I'm not sure.
We don't know.
We don't know.
But there's definitely something going on because Katerina is helping Annika / Barbara with this ruse with Clara.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. It starts to get really bad. So Annika starts becoming jealous of the two boys. So she tries to get them in trouble by doing shitty things and then blaming them. And at this point, the adoption paperwork has started, and one of the people who needs to sign off is Annika's doctor. So doctor starts sending Clara text messages saying that Annika has had a lot of trauma and needs a safe and stable home, and that her boys have been bullying her. And he tells Clara that the boys need to be cured of their evil ways, and he recommends a special therapeutic treatment for the boys and tells Clara that it is necessary for Annika's adoption.
Who is this man?
It's not. It's Katerina.
Okay, but who was the guy who showed up in the parking lot and showed ID and paperwork?
Oh, he doesn't make an appearance again. I think he's somebody that they just hired.
They, as in Katerina and Annika / Barbara?
Mm-hmm.
To just like, hey, they hired an actor who was like down on his luck, who needed a part. They're like, we'll pay you $50 if you go stand in a parking lot and pretend to be a doctor for 5 minutes.
Have you ever played a doctor? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
my God.
So
This is coming from this. So this is coming from Katerina's burner phone. These texts from this quote unquote doctor, but it's really Annika / Barbara sending them.
And Katerina.
What is going on with Katerina?
There's no way to know. There really is no way to know. That's part of the resolution that is #unknown. Okay, so.
Sorry, I am
too.
Just
Thanks, Rick. Okay, so this therapeutic approach, I'm not going to get into the details because it's fucking horrific, but the therapeutic treatment consists of basically extreme physical abuse and torture of the boys.
Well, we have a bit of a taste of what it involved based on how the boys were found. Okay.
Yeah. And then one of the stipulations in the adoption paperwork is that Annika needs to provide a DNA sample to prove her age. And the doctor says that doing a blood draw on Annika may cause her harm. And so they're able to get this condition waived. And not only that, but the doctor says that appearing in court would also cause Annika anxiety and turmoil, which could jeopardize her treatment. So Klara is able to get a friend's child to come to court with her and pose as Annika, and it works. And the judge signs the adoption papers.
What?
Uh-huh. And
Okay.
now 32-year-old Barbara is officially Klara's daughter.
I didn't realize that a DNA test could actually give you like credible age. Like I'm wondering how that even works.
I feel like I need to go back and listen to my own episode because that came up in the one that I did too.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm going to look that up after. We'll circle back on next episode.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, now she's adopted, and it was shortly after the adoption, they all moved into the house next door to the dad setting up his baby monitor.
Okay.
So after Klara and Katerina are arrested and Barbara flees the foster home, she goes to Oslo, Norway, and assumes the identity of a 13-year-old boy named Adam.
Wow.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It is believed that the parents of the real Adam assisted Barbara because at that time, the real Adam had been sent away to live in a boys' home. I don't know how she knew them or if she paid them, but they basically let her assume the role of their son. She enrolls in school and attends all of her classes, except for PE, which she's able to get excused from.
This woman is... this is another one of those cases. Like it's like Marv. Like you are so smart and clever. Like do something better with that.
No shit, right? What are we doing?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Go be a CEO.
Yeah. So the teachers at the school said that Adam's behavior was bizarre, but not alarming, because a lot of boys at age 13 are bizarre. And
yes, they are.
She's able to live as Adam for 3 months before the police receive a tip that she is posing as a 13-year-old boy in Oslo, and they eventually catch up to her and arrest her.
Like an anonymous tip?
I don't know.
How does anyone know? That's crazy. Who knew?
I have no idea. I have no idea. And I have one of my photos is of her being arrested, and I'm sorry. She don't look like no 13-year-old boy. You know? I'm sorry. She shaved her head, and I mean, yeah. There's certain things with aging that it doesn't matter that you're just small. Like, you don't look 13 in the face.
Right.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Eyes don't lie.
No. Crow's feet don't lie. Barbara tried to get out of any charges being filed against her regarding the child abuse allegations, saying that Klara and Katerina were abusing her too, but there was no evidence of that. Barbara was sentenced to 5 years in prison, but was released after just 2 years due to extreme psychological impairments. And it's unknown where she is now. And Klara was sentenced to 9 years, and Katerina was sentenced to 10 years.
How did Katerina get more? Because she was working with Annika?
Yeah.
/ Barbara / Adam?
Correct. And that's, I dug and dug and dug for like a where are they now? What's going on? And that was it.
When did this all go down? What year was it? 2007?
2007. Uh-huh.
Well, those boys are grown now.
I know.
I hope they're doing good. I hope they got a good home.
I do too. I want to understand what was the payoff for Katerina to do that. Like, what was the point?
Yeah, that's the weirdest part, is Katerina being in on it.
And she was the one that was more mentally stable. Like, I mean, she wasn't
clearly
super
not.
stable.
Clearly not.
Historically.
And where are these women's, like, where's the rest of this family for these women? Like, where are their parents, their aunties, their, like, what? Nobody, I
have no idea.
It's just, oh my God, that story is so weird.
It's so fucking weird. And also, it's like, at that time, Klara, like, by all accounts, was a really good mom. And she, in her defense, saw what she legitimately thought was a homeless 12-year-old. And she tried to do the right thing. I mean, I don't excuse her being able to be brainwashed into doing that to her sons or whatever.
No.
But that woman just came into this other person's life who was on a good path and just fucked it all for what?
Oh, no, it's just like, why?
Yeah.
What is the point of that?
I don't know, because it sounds like you could have also said that you're 32 years old and need a place to stay, and maybe that would have been fine too.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to fucking, what are you doing? I don't know.
It's so weird.
It's so fucking weird.
I feel like, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm just like armchairing it over here, okay? But I feel like this pituitary issue was not the only issue going on. Either that or this like lack of growth also affects other things besides just physical. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like there's something really off going on there.
Yeah. And then there was a movie that was loosely based on this. It was a horror movie called Orphan.
Oh, I don't think I saw it.
Okay. Well, it was loosely based off of this story.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a horror movie. It is horror. It is a horror story.
It really is.
Those poor kids.
Yeah.
How long? Like, do we know how long they were down in those cages and being treated like that?
I don't. I know. So fucked up.
That is crazy, sister.
I know. It was chaos. Thanks for the recommendation, Rick.
I'm so bummed out, Rick.
I know.
I'm so bummed out.
God. Me too.
Well, at least in your story, nobody died or disappeared who didn't deserve it. So
That's true.
And they all got some kind of consequence for their actions, and they were caught. That's crazy way to get caught, though.
Oh my God, I know.
Can you imagine? I almost asked you.
No, I
you
cannot.
always asked me. Can you imagine you're setting up your baby monitor for your sweet little babe? You turn it on, and this is what you see?
No. And also, like, probably they would not have ever been caught. Like, what a weird way to get caught.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's so crazy. Like, yeah, they would have gotten away with that for a long time.
So spooky. So fucking spooky.
Like, just...
Oh, and there's stills photos of that floating around.
Oh, no. Yeah. I do not want to see that.
No, I'm just letting people know, if you Google this case, that's one of the first things that come up. So just be careful.
Oh, ick, no. Why is that?
You don't see a lot. You just see his face.
Oh, but, I don't want to see that.
But just don't. I'm just telling people don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good warning. Good looking out, sis.
Thank you. Well.
Oh, well, yeah, that was that was a doozy. That was a bummer. That was two. It was a back-to-back bummer.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. This was pretty motherfucking
chaotic.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Crime, Wine, and Chaos. The podcast art was done by Joshua M. Davis. Music by Paul Abner. You can find us on Facebook at Crime, Wine, and Chaos, on Instagram at Crime, Wine, and Chaos Pod, or check out our website at crimewineandchaos.com. Cheers.